I guess I'll ask the question, what would you say about somebody else that's thinking about working with me? You know that I work with people to help ascend their brand and to target different audiences and to kind of dig into their brand personality. But I also help people with their program production and all that. So what would you say? What would you say to someone that would want that were thinking about working with me?
Well, the first thing that comes up is just like, you can trust Shelby. I feel like in today's day and age, there's a lot of shit coaches and just a lot of people that pretend to be coaches that are just marketers. And I felt like through the whole process, even the first, call that we had, just you and I meeting, that I felt like I could trust you. And I think that's at least, how I think, is that in today's day and age that there's so many people that are entering the space that it's very difficult to be able to decipher, sift through the quality versus the crap. And I've always felt like I can trust you a lot to deliver what exactly it is you're going to say that you're going to deliver. And that's probably the most important part for me, because I've had coaches that haven't done that. And I know you've had a couple experiences that haven't been the most desirable for you either. So, I think many people that have had coaches have had those experiences where there isn't the best outcome. And with Shelby, it's just like, what you see is what you get. And you'll see that through her coaching, that she's very much just her. And literally what you see is what you're going to get, right? She's going to show up as her. She's going to deliver what she says she's going to deliver. And if you have a problem with it, she's also open to you expressing that as well, right? So she's open to receiving, I don't want to say criticism, but like she's open to, she doesn't lead as a tyrant. She's very strong and certain, but it's not like she's not open to also being receptive and open to you being different than everybody else, right? It's not like you need to fit into my program or you're wrong. It's like, okay, you have your general framework and structure for your program, and you fit me into it in a way that I could best have the most optimal outcome. It wasn't like you tried to like force me into a little hole and say, hey, this is how it needs to be. This is how you need to be. You're very open to change and making it work for what was best for me. So the genuineness, the openness to make things work for the client or for me, and the ability for you just to create a space that makes it easy to be open and express for us to get what it is that we need out of the conversation. I would say it was an awesome experience that I would recommend to anybody. I'm already really self-driven. Like, I don't really like accountability partners. It actually just annoys me. Having somebody that would be like on me to get get things done. So I guess I with you was great because I didn't feel that like pushing to get it done, but I just felt like we just got so much done in each call. Like I felt so good after each call with how deep that we went, that I felt like there wasn't really even a whole lot that outside of that I felt like I needed to do as far as the pace that we were going. So I felt like the calls were just so valuable for me. I had a pretty good idea. I think the most benefit for me was really coming from the place of just getting more clear on my direction and how I want to be seen. I think that's the biggest thing. So I was already pretty certain about the relative demographic. Men versus women was a little changed, but it was really just like the clarity I was able to have in moving forward. Like normally I would be barging through a forest, and I'd be like dodging all of the brush and the trees and the weeds and just pushing through. And I might come out and I have like scrapes on my face and hands all beat up from like running through the forest and all that kind of stuff. But it was more so just me running through, and it was just like this path being cleared out to where I didn't have to like barge my way through the forest and break through all the brush, but more so just like a much easier path for me. So just like paving things out to be able to deliver my message to the audience that I had already been pretty certain about. I was always excited for our call because I never knew what was going to come up. Like, what am I going to discover this week about myself that I'm going to get more clear on? So I would consider myself somebody that's very self-aware and very, I think I mean, it's kind of the same mundane, but I know myself, I would say very, very well. But there's still a lot of really, really awesome parts of myself that wasn't aware of simply because it was, my own blind spots that you were able to show me. So I think for me, being able to come and experience that space of me not knowing what was going to come up and knowing that whatever does come up, I'm going to learn more about myself and how I want to put myself out there was really exciting for me. Also, it didn't feel like work, which is also very important to me. I'm very busy in regard to doing things, or I should say efficient in how I choose to spend my time. And if I'm on a coaching call, had quite a few coaches, and it's important for me that it's not like me having to work hard to get get answers out of me, right? I don't feel like I think it's the job of the coach to be able to do a lot of that, and I felt like you did such a good job that I never felt like I had to like try or had to like come up with a bunch of like stuff to remember before I got on the call. I felt like I could just show up, and I felt like you're going to guide and direct the call in the way that it needed to go for us to be able to get the clarity that I needed to be able to find that missing puzzle piece for whatever element of my brand that I wasn't even probably aware of that I was missing. So that's also another thing is there's pieces that I didn't even know that I was missing in the puzzle until, you and I dove in and started to process through some of it. I also think you do such a great job with creating a space that it's almost like this like motherly nurturing space where you have this balance of the masculine and the feminine to where I felt safe to be able to go in and process through some of the things that came up. And I don't say like be safe in the terms of like, being scared or not to talk. Like I can express a lot in front of a lot of people, but just in regard to my mind's capacity to let go of any kind of control and to really just give myself permission to go deep, 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 deep into that place. So I really appreciated that was that element of you being able to hold that space to be able to create the relaxation within me to go deeper into my own thoughts and emotions.
I have seen you walk through a transformation over the past 6 months. Can you talk about how your coaching practice has shifted or changed or some sort of transformation that you've discovered in the past 6 months?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a driver by nature. I'm jump off the cliff. I'm gonna sprout my wings as I jump down. And what's always really, really important for me is to be able to stop, slow down, and have someone else that can really like bring out the details of what I need to know for me. Because sometimes I can definitely get a little too far ahead of myself, and now it's allowed me to do and create a lot of incredible things, but probably create a little more stress that probably don't like to acknowledge a lot than I have to because I am such a driver, and so that's why it's important for me to have someone in my life that's able to slow me down and help me get really clear on the details without having just to barge forward first. And so that's one of the big things for me when I was working with you, Shelby, just like this. I was driving, but there was a lot of pieces that I didn't have clarity. Maybe I thought I had more clarity on than I actually otherwise did. And gaining the clarity on some of those minute details for what I want in my coaching business and how I want to run it, I think was really, really powerful and saved me a lot of potential stress. I even remember there was one call that we had where I even broke into tears a little bit as I was processing through a little bit of a couple stories that I'd been through in my life. And that was a huge breakthrough moment for me. So it wasn't just me getting more clear about my business, but also simultaneously helping me process through some emotional stuff that I do for people, so I got a little bit of my own medicine in that context with you, with working through some of my emotional things that I didn't even know were there. So it was incredible for me to get more clear about my vision for what I want for myself, my business, but also very good for me emotionally, just to be able to process through and the good and the bad too. So like I said, being a driver, sometimes I don't always look back and see some of and all of the good. So I think for both, getting more clear about my vision, what I want, but also be able to see all the great things also that I feel like I've done with my life.